Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Unfuck Yourself podcast. So, once again, per usual, we are sitting here with the Unfuck Yourself membership queens. We are doing this live, and a really cool perk the Unfuck Yourself membership queens have is they get the behind the scenes tea. They get specific names, they get specific stories that I can't really share publicly. Then, also, that we have to cut out of the podcast that we share publicly. And then, also, after the podcast, they have 45 minutes to get their questions answered, which means even if I get to only 5 questions, that is 5 different tools that everyone gets to hear. And what's really great in a big group like this, of course, there's no way we could get to everyone's question, or else we'd be here for literally 2 days straight, and everyone has a life and probably doesn't want to be here for 2 days straight. But what's funny is when I am in like a course, or if I'm at a retreat somewhere, I like to not ask questions because I don't like to be in the hot seat. I like to learn from other people being in the hot seat. That way I'm not like, I don't feel pressure, like my fight or flight system isn't getting raised because I'm in the hot seat. So I get to be emotionally balanced and I get to learn and get the tools from someone else getting their question answered. So I personally like prefer that. So whether you get your question answered or not, you are getting as many tools as questions I get answered to apply to any area of your life anytime you need it. So that's one thing that I love about the membership, and you can cancel anytime, and it's literally $50 a month and you get a lot of tools for that. I mean, if you're getting like 5 or 6 tools per thing we do, that is like we do this 3 times a month, so that's like 15 minimum different tools you're getting. That is literally insane. So anytime you can come join us in here. But today we are diving into emotional highs and lows and how they're not real and how they're actually artificial. Okay. So we are diving into a scientific, energetic, spiritual fact of this universe that if you take the time to really, really understand and apply into your life, you're going to find that so much starts to move and shift and open up for you in your favor. Okay. You're going to find that you will have control over deciding what your days look like and what kind of day you're going to have. And you're going to have control over how other people are perceiving you better too, right? This is a little bit of an extension of a self-image thing too, because if you're always up and down, back and forth emotionally, well, now people know like, oh, I can literally control her emotionally. And then any self-image work you've done in your creator field, the physical action of it is not matching up and you're kind of fucking yourself. So this is the law of emotionally imbalanced highs and lows and why they are working against you. Okay. So, what I mean by emotionally imbalanced highs and lows, it is getting really, really elated and excited about something, and then also getting really, really, really sad down in the dumps in the negatives about something without being able to see both sides at the same time. Okay. Who here has gotten really, really, really excited about something, and then the next day you have this fucking crash? Like, me too. It happens all the time. Or who here has been really, really, really down in the dumps, and then you get what I call our pity donuts from the universe. It's like pity compliments or like pity donuts. The universe like has to bring you something to pull you out. You don't want to live like that either, because you can't fully control, that kind of situation. The comments are like, this is story of my life. This was the story of my life for so fucking long, and it drove me insane. Like, I remember my happiness was based on, when I was pro dancing, my happiness was based on whether or not I got a dance job or not. And I let the casting directors or the whoever that was in charge of the audition determine my happiness for the day. If I booked the job or got a call back, oh my God, it was the best day ever. I was the best dancer ever. I had the best life ever. And then, but if I didn't, it was like, what am I doing? I'm the worst dancer. I fucking hate myself. I remember one specific audition. This is the literal manifestation of emotional highs and lows. I remember one specific audition. It was an audition for a pop artist, okay? And it was like all these people, blonde, 5'4", athletic body build. I mean, we all looked exactly the same. So we go in there, there's about probably 40 of us in this audition at this point. And I start just fucking up the choreography. Like I am so low on myself of like, oh my God, like I'm awful at remembering choreography. Like I just start slowly declining in my brain. Like I all of a sudden I'm a horrible dancer and I just start slowly declining. And I'm just going down, down, downhill real fucking quick. And I start making up my own fucking dance in the corner, right? I'm like, I'm obviously not gonna book this job. I suck. I'm awful. I don't even know why I'm here doing this. Like everyone else here is better than me. Of course, I'm never going to get this. And I'm on this emotional downhill spiral that happened real fucking quick. So I'm in the corner. I'm not picking up any of the choreography. I'm so feeling so distraught. I'm feeling so confused. Everybody else is like getting it what seems to be like so fast. And I'm over here in the back, like, what the fuck is wrong with me? So I just start making up my own dance at this point. At this point, we go in groups of five. They call you in groups of five to do the choreography. And they like, and then it's the most awful thing. They're going, Shelly, Betty, step forward. Everyone else, thanks for coming. Bye. And so just in front of everyone, they tell you who gets to the next round, who the fuck's going home. So, my group gets called. We do the thing. I don't know the choreography at all. I start just making up my own shit. And I get called to stay. I'm so fucking confused at this point. I'm like, literally, why this makes no sense. So anyway, we do another round of it, and then they're like, thank you, everybody, you can go home now. So on the way home, I remember I had to walk there and walk home because I had no car because I was so broke. And I called my mom hysterically crying. I'm like, I'm such an awful dancer. I couldn't remember anything. It's so embarrassing. Like I'm embarrassing myself. I'm going to be blacklisted, like all of these things. I know for sure I did not book this job. 2 weeks goes by. I'm in North Hollywood with Emma. If Emma's in here, Emma was there, I'm pretty sure, and our friend Megan. And we're in this acai bowl place, okay? And I get an email from my agency saying I booked the job. And I was like literally shocked. I was like literally so in shock that I booked this job because I know that I fucked up the choreography in the audition so bad. Like so fucking bad. And I'm in literal shock that I booked this job. Anytime you're in shock that you got a compliment, that you booked something, that you got paid more money, it's a pity donut from the universe. Anytime it's shocking to you. I was so low that my creator field, when I say universe, I mean my creator field had to create a situation that brought me back to neutral, which was me getting the job. So I was like confused. I'm like, do you have the wrong girl? I'm like, this is Allie. You're emailing. Like, do you know it's me? And I literally wrote back. I go, wait, are you sure? Like, are you sure it's me? And they were like, yes. I don't know why I booked it. Literally the law of balance. So I booked this job, and that is the definition of see, Emma's writing back. She goes, I was there. She said, I was there. You were like, no way. Yes, I was literally so confused. Like when I tell you I had no idea how I booked it, we were waiting for our acai bowls in North Hollywood. I remember it so significantly. And I was like literally in shock. Anytime you're in shock, it's a pity donut from the universe. So that's an example of me being so low, the artificially low, that my creator field had to create something to come make me high so that it could balance me out. I was so low, had to create a happy thing so I could get balance. So now, if you're not balancing yourself out, this is what your life will do over and over and over and over and over again. If you're really, really high and elated, something's going to happen to make you crash down to balance you out. If you're really, really, really low, you're going to get a pity donut from the universe that you're shocked about, that you're not going to know how to sustain to make you then balance. But now you're going to get too high about the pity donut. So then you're going to have another crash again, then you have another crash, and then you're going to have another high. And your whole fucking life becomes this goddamn roller coaster that you can't get off of. You're like, help me get off this roller coaster. So we're going to get off the roller coaster today. This is a law that every time I see it in play, I have to literally like tape my mouth shut to not slap whoever. That doesn't make sense. To my mouth shut, not slap somebody. I have to hold my hands back to not slap whoever I see in front of me doing it in the face. I'm like, I just want to shake them and be like, stop. You're getting yourself on a roller coaster. It's not going to be fun. It is not a fun roller coaster. It is not a Six Flags roller coaster. Okay. It is not. Trust, you do not want to be on it. So, what I'm talking about is that how people talk about and navigate their highs and low moments in their life, okay? So You'll hear me talk about a lot being balanced, and that's the key to a really, really amazing life. You'll hear me talk a lot about the law of balance. So, we essentially do not even have to worry that much about obstacles in our life if we are 100% balanced all the time in like every single area of life. Okay. And obstacles, they have a specific purpose of correcting us and kind of righting a wrong. Okay. So it's like if we get out of balance of our highest potential with our highest self, we get an obstacle. Our creator field creates an obstacle in hopes, not that this always happens, but in hopes that we learn, correct ourselves, and then get back on track with our highest potential. So these laws, they're here for our benefit. But if you don't know about them or how to work them, we can't really use them for our benefit because they're kind of just slapping us in the face over and over again if we don't know how to work them, how to use them to our benefit. So, human beings have not figured out that when they talk about their days, when they talk about a situation, they tend to not be balanced. They tend to be on either side. Something's either good or something's either bad. They're not seeing how things are equally both. And there is a universal law that everything in this universe has to be in balance. This universe has been built off of polar opposites: hot, cold, wrong, right, good, bad, right? Like everything in this universe has been built off of balance. So everything in this universe has an equal amount of good and bad, but humans are taught things are either good or they are bad. There's no like in between, there's no both. So that's then how we go and how we start to live our life. So, and you're either on one side of going, this is the worst thing ever, or you're on the other side of going, this is the greatest thing. I can't even imagine how things could get even better than this. And either way, you're artificially high or you're artificially low. Artificially high or low means that you're not seeing both good and bad in every single thing that happens to you. We will go through situations that seem really, really good, and we'll find the bad today. We'll go through situations that seem really, really bad, and we'll find the good today, just so you can get an idea, but we'll get there in a little bit. And then I want you to challenge me. I want you to put, not now, but later, I'll tell you when. I want you to put something in the chat, you guys who are here live, and something that you think is really, really awful, and I'm going to tell you how it's just as equally good, and then we'll do the opposite too. So just so we can kind of like debunk our brain's beliefs of these things. Okay. Or what happens is people get to this other place of going, this is like the worst day of my fucking life. Everything's gone wrong. And what happens then is we then cause our creator field to have to intervene and create something to go right to balance us out. But again, if we're shocked about it, it's a pity donut from our creator field, which we don't want because we can't, it's not sustainable. And then we're very much out of control on how often we can create pity donuts from our creator field and from the universe. So what I've learned to do is step outside of the source view of my life, of anyone's life who comes to me. And so when we look back on any situation or even the last hour of our life or the last day or the last week or the last year, it's easy to have a judgment of your day of, oh, it was either a good day or, oh, it was a bad day. We're not trained to see both. Okay. But source sees both equally all the time, always. Both would keep all of the following things that we're going to talk about from happening. So what happens, we have an experience, we have a judgment. It was either great or it was bad. And then we can't see that both are true at the same time. And when we talk about the law of balance, how everything in this universe has to be in balance no matter what, if we somehow push the scales of balance out of balance, the universe has to correct it right away. It's just what has to happen. So think of it as like if everything has to be balanced, like the literal rotation of the earth, if it has to be balanced perfectly to keep spinning, to keep moving, that is how we also function too, because we live on earth. So in order for for the earth to maintain its spin, it has to have a balance. And now with the same concept, we are have to take this and put this in our day to day, in situations, in moment to moment practice. If we have to be able to get to a place of, if we're like, I had the best day ever, we've got to start going, this can't be true, and then find all the negatives. And if we're in a place where we're too negative of, this is the worst day ever, we've got to start going, this can't be true, and then we've got to start to find all the positives. That's why also the whole like I hate the word toxic, but honestly, like for lack of a better word, the toxic positivity that kind of can happen in the spiritual world, who has like experienced that, right? Whether you've seen it on TikTok or in books or in podcasts or with certain like teachers, the whole like, oh, don't focus on the bad, like don't look at the bad, just positivity. And you and to the point where it's like you're trying to be so positive that your whole life sucks because you're just trying to be so positive that your whole life has to be negative. And then you're like in this battle all the time. Or you're trying to be so positive that your subconscious is so fucking negative because your conscious mind's trying to be so positive. Your conscious mind's being so positive, so your subconscious has to be so negative. And then you're fighting with yourself 24/7. You're wondering why your life's not changing. Well, that is why. So we're going to get off of that roller coaster literally right now. So we talk about true balance is seeing something in the eyes of love. Okay. Love, source definition of love is seeing the good and the bad equally in everything. That is the source definition of love. So, the seeing things through the lens of love means being able to see 10 positives and 10 negatives at the exact same time. 5 positives and 5 negatives at the exact same time. 27 positives and 27 negatives at the exact same time. That means that when you look at something, like for example, let's say you see, um, let's say you see somebody steals somebody else's sunglasses, right? And you watch it happen. Someone's laying it by the pool. They get up to go in the water. You watch someone else go over, steal their sunglasses. Okay. There's one view of going, oh my God, that idiot, like that thief, that's awful. That they just ruined that person's day. They're a horrible person for stealing, right? That's what most people would go to because that's what society would define as something that is negative. But there's a flip side of that. Feel free to type in the chat if you're in here what you think the flip side of that is. But I will also tell you, because you're asking, so great question, glad you asked. What you can be doing at the same time is going, oh my God, that person who just stole the sunglasses is teaching that other person how to have that never happen again, to be more aware of their surroundings, to be more thoughtful of their stuff, right? It's teaching them to be more appreciative of the things they have. It's teaching them, oh, where am I stealing from myself? If you get stolen from, you're creating that. So it's teaching them to look at where they're stealing from themselves, which all is helping that other person get to a higher aligned, higher self version of themselves. If somebody steals from me, then I'm going to start going, where am I stealing from myself? Oh, I'm stealing time from myself. Oh, I need more time to myself. Okay, now I'm going to spend more time with myself. Oh, now look what happens. Now my partner wants to spend more time with me and is pursuing me more. Okay, interesting. Now other people want to spend more time with me and they're coming to my lives more. Oh, interesting. So all of those things are great. And the person stealing the sunglasses just helped the other person see all of those things, right? So that is the good part about that. That is the balance in that. And another part of this, of defining good and bad, we are all everything. Okay. So the murderers that you think are bad, we're all murderers. Who has killed a bug before? Who has eaten something that maybe isn't the best for you, right? who has put themselves through turmoil and you just feel like you're killing yourself, who has said to them before, oh, you kill me when you do that, like a parent, like, oh, you kill me when you do that, right? We are all murderers in some kind of way, shape, or form, right? So if we are defining something as bad or good, we are automatically now saying that we're not that. And the problem is in why there's mass murders in the world is because every single person isn't admitting to themselves that they're a murderer. If you would just admit to yourself, oh yeah, I'm a murderer, because you know what? If someone came into your family's house with a gun, pointing it at your child or pointing it at your loved one, what would you do? You would kill the person that's pointing the gun at your loved one, right? Like, I doubt anyone here would just sit back and let it happen. So, we all are a murderer in some way, shape, or form, right? If every single person in the world would take responsibility for that and just be like, yeah, I'm a murderer, like I've killed bugs, I would kill someone if they came into my house and pointed a gun at like my child, right? If we could just admit that to ourselves, there wouldn't be one single person who would have to take up all that energy and go mass murder people. Why they're doing that is because of the law of balance. If we're not admitting that we're murderers, well, now somebody who's more inclined, who maybe has a lot of imbalances in their brain, who's more of a match to go mass murder somebody, is now going to have to take on all of that energy that we're denying and now go mass murder a bunch of people. If everyone would just admit their murder, nobody would get murdered, right? Because everybody would just take ownership of that part. So the problem is when we go, this is good or this is bad, we start denying these parts of ourselves. So the thief part, we're all a thief in some way, shape, or form. Whether or not you've stolen actually anything in your life, it doesn't matter. Have you stolen your own time? Have you stolen other people's time? Have you stolen your own ability to see your own perfection in yourself? Have you stolen your ability to see your full gifts? Have you stolen your ability to fully love yourself, right? We are all thieves in some way, shape, or form. Again, it's not good or bad. It's just here to show us something. But the problem is that we go, you're bad, you're a thief. I would never do that. The second we say I would never do that, someone else who's more inclined, who's more imbalanced in a certain way, is now going to go be more of a thief because you're denying the fact that you're a thief. Same thing with addiction. We're all addicted to something. I'm addicted to probably like walking. Like I can't, if I don't walk in the day, like I need to walk. I hate sitting still. But we have to admit it, right? We're all addicted to something. Doesn't matter if it's drugs or alcohol or gambling or a substance like that. Are you addicted to your phone? Are you addicted to people pleasing? Are you addicted to your limiting thoughts? Like, we're all addicted to something. When we don't take ownership of that because we make it a bad thing, oh, it's bad, that's bad, that's bad, I would never. Well, now the person who's more inclined to go be the massive addict, to go ruin their and everyone else's life, ruin, right? Nothing's good or bad, but for lack of a better word, is going to now have to take on all your unwillingness to see that balance, and they have to take it on and go be that and do it on a massive level. But if everyone could just admit and see where they're an addict, there wouldn't have to be the big crazy extreme blowout addiction taking overs. So this law is helpful in so many ways. But let me get back on track of what I was going to explain about this today, because I kind of went off a little different vein there than I was planning on, but it was good we talked about that. So my point was, circling it back, the thief who stole the sunglasses is not good or bad. They are just being shown. If you are a thief and you are, or if you are, you're acting on that part, right? What's that showing you? Where do I feel lack, right? It's good and bad all at the same time. The second we do not see the world as both things happening at the same time, a big obstacle can pop up to balance us out. If I don't see both at the same time, what happens is I'm causing my creator field, I'm causing my higher self, and I'm causing all the forces around me to balance me out. So in that situation, however you walk away from that situation, that energy is going to dictate the rest of your day and then life. Because what happens is, think of it as like riding a roller coaster, okay? The second something happens, something good happens, somebody comes into our life and they're like, hey, I have an incredible career opportunity for you. I want to put you on TV for what you do. I want to showcase your gifts on TV. Okay. What happens to that level of balance, okay, that love state, that neutral love state that we're in, the roller coaster track starts to go up. And it's going up and it's going up and it's going up. And it starts to build stored energy. And we're getting excited and we're getting more elated. Oh my God, these people want to make a show about the work I do. That's so fucking cool. That means that's really exciting. And why we get emotional is because we make these external things mean something about us. The only reason you're getting super elated about the TV opportunity you just got is because you're making the TV opportunity mean something about you. You're making it mean people will finally take me seriously. You're making it mean I'll finally make more money. And then people will trust me more. You're making it mean that you've made it in career, that you're successful. You're making it mean something about you. You don't already feel this thing. You've decided this external thing is going to mean something about you. Now you're getting excited. Okay. See how this ties back to self-image, right? Now you're getting excited. Well, now you're getting more and more elated as this goes on. As we start to get higher, our emotions are going higher. We get more excitement. We get more elated. We start to play in this what if game and like this hope. Hope is the worst thing you could feel. We'll get into that later, but hope is the absolute worst emotion you could probably feel. We'll explain why later, but you get into this like hopeful, oh my God, this could change my whole entire life. I'm so excited state. And all the emotions I'm talking about here are imbalanced emotions. Okay. Being excited and elated is actually not where you want to be. They're very dangerous emotions. If, well, we'll talk about hope later, actually. I don't want to get confusing, but we do not want to be in a high, elated, hopeful state at all. It will wreak havoc on our creator field and what we are creating. But we have this good moment and somebody's like, hey, I want to make this TV show about you. We're going up in the roller coaster, okay? And the tracks keep getting built up and they keep getting built up. And you're like, well, can't I just keep going up forever? That's not the law of the universe. What's the literal, like, such basic law of the universe we learned when we were like 5? What goes up must come down, right? So we learned that when we're 5 in kindergarten, right? You throw an apple up in the air, it comes back down, right? So you can't just stay on the up forever. It's not how this earth plane works. So as we're going up, we're getting excited and now we're at the peak, okay? And we're in a place of holy fuck, this is life changing. I hope this changes my family. I hope I make enough money to like support my family. I hope this changes my career. I hope this changes how people view me. I can't wait for my friends from high school to see this who all bullied me and show them that I'm on TV, right? All of these hopeful thoughts start to happen. I can't wait. And my teacher who doubted me, they'll shut the fuck up forever, right? And we got all these very hopeful thoughts that happen. I'm just explaining myself like when I was 20. Like this is nothing new to me. This is literally just me, 8 years ago. So we get very, very excited. This is the best day ever, right? Now, there's always sort of a point of where things go really, really wrong in this. Who has experienced this before? You're really, really high, then all of a sudden something just happens to crash you down, right? Whether it's the opportunity itself you lose, or whether it's something at home hits the fan, or whether it is somebody just all of a sudden fucking breaks up with you, or whether it is some kind of crash somewhere else, right? Or your health takes a toll, something happens, right? Or the opportunity itself gets wiped out from under you. Who here has experienced that? So, me too. So, what happens is you're on this high, now you're at the peak, okay? And I'm going to explain this more in the law in some situations and all those things that I've seen over the years with myself and other people in a second, especially with like careers and dating and networking. But we're at this top, right? And then what happens is we start to crash. Something happens. The people, the producers of the show said, you know what, I'm sorry, it's just looking like we don't have the budget for it. Or, you know what, we took this to the network, they don't want to pick it up. Or the network picks it up, you have a show, but you come home that night and your partner is ripping into you and they just are picking fights and they're making you feel like shit. Or you break your ankle, or your kid gets sick and they're throwing up all over you, right? Something has to happen to get you back down to neutral. Okay. All areas of life are and will be affected by this law, and it will wreak havoc on your ability to manifest and create what you desire. Also, it will wreak havoc on the perception other people have of you. If you're really elated, people are going to feel like she's too desperate. They want it too bad. If you're really, really in a negative, they're not going to really want to be around you or trust what you're saying. So if you're sitting there going, well, I don't know how this law affects my life. I don't get it. Well, it's affecting you literally everywhere. Okay. Just pick one area where of life where you have letdown after letdown after letdown. That's the law at play right there. We can start to use this law to get rid of those letdowns. So we get to this place of things can't get any better. And then now what has to happen is then we have to get to a place of seeing all the negatives in that moment. And we have to do it as it's happening, or else we're going to get this law acting up. We don't want the law to act up. Okay. So if we get to a place of, oh my gosh, things are so good right now, immediately start to find how it's bad. Immediately. To the point where you're neutral. Okay, I call it crushing my own dreams, but it's the best thing you can do for yourself. Because if you don't, you will be on this up and down roller coaster your whole entire life. And what's really ironic about that is you go up, you have to come down. Well, now you're down, you've got to go back up. Well, now you're back up, now you have to come down. Now your whole life is so far from your control that you will not be able to control anything. You're not gonna be able to control your career. You're not gonna be able to control your money. You're not gonna be able to control your relationship situation. You're not gonna be able to control your self-image with yourself, because the only reason why we have these highs and lows is because of self-image stuff, right? Now, here's the thing. We're always gonna have self-image stuff that comes up, but it's how we deal with it in the moment that matters. Are we going to let it take us on these highs and lows, or are we going to learn how to balance it out in the moment? And the more we learn how to balance it out in the moment, the easier our self-image ingredients can get, the easier our self-image healing can get, the easier manifesting money can get, the easier manifesting the career can get when you learn how to balance yourself out in the moment. Because if you go too far down, well, now you have to spend all this time and all this work to pull yourself back up to neutral, right? If you're too far elated because of something, opportunity outside of you that means something about you, well, now you're gonna have to do all this work to pull yourself back down, or else your creator field will for you and all the forces around you. So we want to get to a point of this really sucks. Oh, okay, let me find the good right now. Or, oh my God, this is really great. Let me find the bad right now. I used to not understand why I couldn't just be elated all the time. I thrived off of being elated. It was like my favorite emotion to feel. I would search and search and search for that temporary high of being elated. I would find it in dance jobs. I would find it in on my old Instagram. I would love to post photos of myself looking like really hot and like my ass out and like my dancer poses. And I would find it in, liking that. I would find it in, the guys I thought who were hot at the time, like liking my or watching my Instagram story. You couldn't like Instagram stories back then, but I would find it in performing a dance. I would find it in booking the job. I would find it in posting a dance video and waiting for the comments to come in. There's a lot of ways that you can find these little external sources of highs, right? I was really focused. I just wanted to feel elated all of the time. But I can sit here and say I have never been happier seeing both at the same time. Both at the same time is a source definition of love, because in that place you have control over everything. You can't be shaken. You cannot be bothered. Like you are so unbothered in that, right? So If we're not seeing both at the same time, it means we are not present. Okay. We are not paying attention to everything around us. In that moment, that person has said this thing that you've wanted them to say, and you're so excited, and then you're not seeing the other side of it. You've got to see both right away. Okay. So, source would say, and what we have to do is, okay, what are the bad sides of getting presented a TV opportunity if you're somebody who would want that, right? Some people don't want to be on TV. But if you're someone where your career would benefit going on a reality show or getting a show about you or whatever it is, right? Insert any career opportunity into this, right? So, what's the bad in that? How is that even bad? How's it even bad, right? Source would say that, well, the more people who, if you're on TV, now your whole life is out for everyone to watch. Now, you could do one little thing, they could flip it, make it look like this big deal, and you could get canceled for the rest of your life. You can't even go to a restaurant anymore now without feeling like somebody might know you there. Now you're always extra self-conscious. Now everyone has something to say about your life. Now people think what they see on TV is your whole life and they feel like they know everything about you there. Therefore, they feel like they have the right to comment on anything about you. There's a lot of downsides. Now, anything like a career opportunity, let's just say you're like, that's great, Ali, but like I don't want to be on TV, I don't care. Okay. Let's say like something like a career opportunity, just like a really great career opportunity where you are being recognized for your gifts. Well, now you might feel more pressure. Now you might feel like you're never going to be able to top that. Now you're going to feel like these people have higher expectations of you. And now you're going to drive yourself nuts and you're not going to be able to sleep at night because now you're trying to figure out how you're going to top this, right? You're going to start to maybe even feel guilty because they gave you this award and like now you feel like you owe them something, right? So there's always going to be an equal amount of highs and lows. Okay, even if someone gives you a gift, right? And you're like, oh my God, this is an incredible gift. You've got to immediately go, this is a terrible gift at the same time. You've got to see both, right? And you've got to see how it's a great gift and then how it's also the worst gift. Maybe someone gives you a gift of $1 million. How is a gift of $1 million equally the worst gift? Well, it's going to make you complacent. Any dreams or aspirations you have, you're not going to be as motivated, right? You're going to prolong your soul career. If you didn't know how to handle $100, you're not going to know how to handle 1 million. That'll be gone poof before you know it, right? You've got to see the good and bad in everything. Okay. So we have to start to take an unbalanced moment and turn it into a balanced moment. Here's another example of this: getting engaged, right? The second I got engaged, I started seeing how it was awful. Because I obviously it's an exciting thing. It's a natural thing that we're going to naturally deem as this is good. This is fun. This is a great time in our lives. Yes, all of those things are true. And I had to start seeing how it was equally as awful at the same time. Oh my God, like I won't be single again. Like, what if I'm missing out on somebody else? I could be, right? What if I get fucking divorced? The engagement could end, right? There's things that you can do and say to balance yourself out. What if in 10 years I would have rather gotten engaged in a different way then? What if I'm going to look back and hate the way I got engaged, right? There's going to be all the time ways to balance yourself out. I was immediately doing that the second I got engaged. I'm like, well, I could get divorced, right? Balancing yourself out, because when you do that, then the likelihood of a crash coming down in your relationship is way less likely. Okay. Where I didn't do this was at my engagement party. I was so excited for the engagement party we had back in November. I was like, oh my God, this is the only time, other than also your wedding, that you have everyone you love flying in all in one place. They're flying in, your friends, your family from all over are coming in. They're all in one spot. You get to have this beautiful, fun week with all of them. They're staying with you. Like it's such a fun, beautiful time. I was like, I'm gonna get to wear a cute, pretty dress. I'm gonna get my hair and makeup done. I'm gonna get a spray tan. It's gonna be so fun. And I was thriving. I was like online buying because we had a whole weekend plan. We are gonna go to the country dance place with everyone in town the night after. Everyone was coming over to my house the day after to get Carbone catered. And I was like online buying all these outfits for country dancing. And I was like, I'm gonna get a sparkle outfit in my sparkle cowgirl boots. I'm gonna be a sparkly little wedding girl and thriving. And I knew I was getting too excited. And I was like, I know I'm getting way too excited. But I just wanted to live in my false excitement. So I knew I was getting way too excited. And even the day of our engagement party, I was like seeing so many people for the first time that I haven't seen in so long. And I was so happy. And we were getting ready and everyone was in my room and I was getting to talk to all my friends and I love community and I love seeing them in person and like a love language of mine is quality time. So I just was so happy to be there with everybody. And then the engagement party was stunning. Like I invested so much money into it and it was beyond my wildest dreams. And the event planners are incredible and they had slippers for everyone there who who want to take their heels off. It was just incredible. So the whole night I'm like, fuck me, because I knew I was too high. And everyone's there. I'm like talking to everyone. I don't have like really the time to like balance myself out. So then after the engagement party, and after we eat like a late dinner with everybody, with like close friends and that kind of thing after. And once everyone goes home, me and Justin are back in our hotel room and we just get in the stupidest fight ever. You would think it was like two 8-year-olds fighting. We are in the stupidest, dumbest fight from like 12 a.m. until like 5 a.m. the next day for like hours. For like, I couldn't even tell you what the fight was about because it was so fucking stupid. But I remember being so pissed and so annoyed. And I'm like, I'm going to remember this day for the rest of my life now that we fought after the engagement party. I'm like, this cannot be a good sign. So why we got in that stupid fight that was so random that I don't even remember what it was about now is because I was so fucking high and I had to create a crash for myself. And then we get in this fight and then I'm like miserable and I don't sleep. And then I sleep for like 2 hours because the next morning I have to wake up to go like film something quick. And it was just, and then I was exhausted the whole rest of the weekend. I had fun, but I was like exhausted. So that is why we don't want to get too artificially high. We will take a really fun, exciting thing and we will turn it into something that is not a very fun and exciting thing at all. So, emotions play a very, very special role in our brain's ability to see the world around us. Okay. So, another example here is if we are in sort of an elated emotion, a happy emotion, things are too good to be true emotion space, what's going to happen is we sort of entered this place that's like, I'm on top of the world. Okay. We're on top of the world and we are just thriving. We are just floating on a cloud on top of the world, which means our feet are not on the ground. Okay. Which means it is very, very easy to not be balanced and not be stable if our feet are not on the ground. To not watch, if we're not watching where we're going because we're so high up or floating, right? We're in elation and celebration. And maybe you are starting to see where this is going. But what happens is if we're too high up here and we're not rooted in seeing both sides at the same time, same place as when it's happening, your fight or flight system is not at all engaged, right? So if your fight or flight system is not engaged at all, well, you're not keeping yourself, leveled and neutral. So if you're on a bicycle and you're like, let's say you're like distracted, you're looking up at something in the sky, like there's fireworks going on, but you're riding the bike, right? And your bike's starting to like go off path a little bit, like very quickly. And then the body starts to follow because the body follows our line of sight. So if we're looking up, our body is going to start to go up. But now our bike is kind of like going some other direction. So if you're looking totally off in another direction, you're looking up, it's going to wreck the path and the direction that your bike's going in because you're going to veer off track. So anytime you go into a higher emotional state, your body like loses touch to the ground, and your body needs to be on the ground at all times. It needs to have balance, it needs to have power, it needs to have a place of like earth to stand on. And it needs to have contact with what's going on in the real world. So, are there dangers to doing this on a physical level, on a science level? And when our emotions go high, our brain drops its critical thinking. It doesn't analyze things anymore. And the potential for threats is much, much, much greater than it was had we been in a loving neutral place of going, here's four negatives and four positives of the situation right now. Okay. It's seeing the world as a whole picture, and it's being able to decide, okay, these are my obstacles. These are the things that I should be going after, and it's going to make me balanced, really level headed decisions. And this is where your life is going to be really, really, really incredible when you can get yourself off the elated train into a balanced place, and then you have your critical brain now thinking too. You're able to use your intuitions, because when you're emotional and emotional is being highly elevated, your intuition is just, you can kiss it goodbye. Any emotion over seven, if you're 17% emotional or more, your intuition is just out the window. And even being highly elated is an emotion. So now let's go to the opposite of this. Let's say we're in a deep, deep, deep fear-based emotion. We are scared. We are worried. Things are going awfully wrong. I suck. I hate my life. What automatically is going to start to happen with our body is we're going to get paralyzed. We're going to get paralysis. We're going to have hesitation and all of these other actions that are associated to feeling in fear, right? When we're in fear, you don't know what action to take and you're just like, fuck, then I won't take any action, right? And we just get stuck. And what we can experience is then we're not now taking big enough steps because we are now too far in this fear-based place. Okay. And we are playing it safe, and then we're not moving. And I see this all of the time. And if my emotions would have taken over, I would have never had the business I have today as quick as I got it. Okay. So when I first decided that I was going to leave dance and like somehow create a business out of intuition, I had no idea what that even looked like because I didn't know how to fucking do that. But when I decided I was going to figure that out, my emotions were saying, Allie, no, like everyone wants you to stay and dance, stay and dance. You know what to do. You know how to go pro, and you're already pro in dance. You know how to book work. You know your path. You have the connections. Just stay there. You already got in the agency. That's really hard to do anyway. Just stay there. Your dance teacher back in Pennsylvania she's going to think you're fucking weird. Everyone's going to hate you, right? All the little girls I taught growing up are going to be so sad that Miss Allie stopped dancing so early, and they're going to have no one to look up to anymore. And my emotions were saying, stay dancing, stay dancing. It's scary to do the other thing. It's scary. If I would have listened to the emotions, I would have still been dancing probably at this point. I've seen a timeline before. I'll intuitively looking at timelines, and sorry, I've seen a timeline where I was up until 28. So like I just turned 24, but 29. In years I've been on Earth. I've been here 29 years. So up until 28, though, I saw myself still dancing. I would have just been getting out now and just been healing my self image now, like I started doing when I was 20. So it would have prolonged me not just 8 years, but like a solid 12 to 15. So if I would have let my fear based emotions take over, I would have not been able to create what I've created today. right? I had to neutralize the fear. When then I left dance and I told everybody, like my dance teacher back home, that I left dance, and she's like, "What are you going to do?" And I was like, "Well, I'm going to be a medium." She was like, "What?" I could have let my emotions of embarrassment stop me, right? It was, what's more embarrassing, being a medium or being a pro dancer who books work on like TV? Obviously, being a medium at the time to me was that, right? When I was like 20. So I had to neutralize the fear in order to get myself to move. I was too far in the negative. I had to neutralize myself, and that's how I got myself to move. Move quick, move with action, move with decision, move with learning, move with just throwing things at the wall, seeing what sticks in business, right? Another example of this is being in the negatives with money, like physically negatives, but emotionally negative also with money, being emotionally in the negatives with money, right? There was a time where I mean, literally, I had negative dollars. I actually had to dig for quarters in my car to put them in the gas tank to fill up gas in my car. And I I remember this exact moment. I remember the exact gas station I was at. It was at like Cahuenga Boulevard in Toluca Lake, if you know that area. If you know that area, you know the gas station I'm talking about. It's like at the corner of like, I think Lake Ersham and Cahuenga or something like that. Um, or Cahuenga and Riverside Drive is where the gas station was in Toluca Lake. And that was my gas station. I fucking loved that one. And I remember being there. And there was this one time I was there and I was literally in the back seat digging for quarters to put in the fucking gas thing. And I said, you know what? Why is this good? And I was like, why is this the best thing ever? I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be a great story to tell. Like I can see it now. I'm going to tell it. I'm going to tell it to a bunch of people whenever they're ready to listen, whenever they want to listen. I'm going to use it to teach. I'm going to use it in course. I'm going to write this in a book someday. And here we are telling the fucking story. I always tell the story. But in that moment, I could have kept going low, 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 low. But I decided, how is this fucking the best thing ever right now? And in that moment, I started to see how me being so fucking broke was the best thing that has ever happened to me. And the more I started to see it, the more neutral I got. The more neutral I got, the less I wanted money. The less I wanted money, the more I made money. And the more I made money, and the more I made money, and the more I made money. And now to this day, I got so neutral with $0. Someone could go and take all the money out of my bank account tomorrow and I could get neutral, right? Had to pay taxes the other day. I had a fucking like meltdown for about 10 minutes and then I got neutral, right? Only the meltdown was because if that money would have gone to a vacation or to some or a house, I would have been cool. The fact it went to the government, like, don't love. So because I felt like it wasn't going somewhere that like was benefiting me and making me more money, I had a little meltdown, but I got negative and I got myself right back to neutral real fucking quick. So, but when you don't do that, law of focus, what you focus on, you get more of. Well, the more you're in the negatives, the more you're going to be in the negatives, right? The more you're seeing the balance, the more you're always going to be in balance. So, same thing if you go on a date. I remember I worked at a fitness and tennis club in LA, Toluca Lake Tennis and Fitness Club. I see Erin in here, and that's how I know her. She also worked there. So Erin knows what I'm talking about. I worked there, and there was a guy there, a tennis pro who worked there. And I thought he was at that time, I was, I think 20. I thought he was the hottest thing I've ever seen in my life at that time, right up until that point. And I was like, oh my God, this guy is so hot. Well, I overhear him talking about how he has a girlfriend. So I was like, oh, damn it. Okay, whatever. So I, forget about it. And I forget about it, right? And then at some point, I guess he broke up with his girlfriend and he started to ask me to like play tennis with him. He's like, I want to give you a tennis lesson. I want to give you a tennis lesson. I want to give you a tennis lesson. And at that point, I was just uninterested in dating anybody. And so I just kept pushing it off. For 6 months, I just kept like saying no to this guy. And then 6 months later, he finally got me to he got me in a tennis lesson. And then after that, he asked me to dinner, like later that week. And we go to dinner and I have a great time. I'm like, oh my God, like I'm thinking at this time, this guy's the hottest guy I've ever seen up until that point. I'm like, holy shit. Like this, I'm having it. We vibed, we like we had great mental connection and emotional connection. So we like really vibed on that level. And and I remember going home and I immediately went home and I made a T chart and I wrote down all the positives and I immediately started writing down all the negatives. I was like, I neutralized that whole relationship so easily and so well that there was no force like pushing him away or making like a negative or making like a too high thing where it had to crash. And it was really cool that I was able to do that with this tool. Okay. So we can use this to create the outcomes that we choose to create just by getting neutral about them. When we're neutral, we no longer have this attachment of I need this to work. If we have an attachment of I need this to work, when we need something, what happens? The law of opposing forces happens. If we need, the other person has to not need us, right? Or the other thing has to not need. If we want, the other thing has to not want. If we're neutral and we're just in a state of love, now we're creating anything that we choose to create because we don't have this attachment. Not to mention, self image wise, we're showing up and nobody can rock us, right? No one can say anything to you. If someone tries to hurt your feelings, you're immediately seeing how it's a good thing they're doing that. So you're immediately not giving them an emotional reaction and you're immediately not giving them what they were trying to get out of you anyway. Well, now you're starting to be perceived in the world as somebody who is very confident because confident people, truly not like fake confident, true from the inside out confident people are not letting someone tell them, you know, they're ugly and then going on down an emotional spiral about it, right? If you told me, Allie, that's the ugliest pink sparkly shirt I've ever seen you wear, I'd be like, literally what? I'd be so confused because I'm not in a pink sparkle shirt. I'm not identifying with it. So therefore I'm not offended. Right. So if you were to be like, Allie, you're the worst intuitive ever, again, I would be like, what? Because I don't identify with being the worst intuitive ever. So I'd be so confused that you're saying that. Right. So if you are offended, it just is showing you your lack of rootedness to whatever it is that they're saying that you're not. Right. Or that you are. And they're giving you the greatest gift. They're just showing you where you're not rooted. So it's a great thing, right? And so if you're not rocked by it, your level of magnetism skyrockets. It goes through the roof. There, have you guys watched on Netflix recently? The Millionaire or something. It was a reality show. It was a game show. They were all in a mansion, and there was like the head guy. Let me see the comments. Yes, so good. Okay, yes. What's it called? Oh, The $1 Million Secret is what it's called. If you haven't watched it, go watch it on Netflix. I won't ruin it for you. But the girl who wins, you have to like, you have to lie and like, people can't know you're the millionaire, else they'll kick you out, right? So the girl who won was so emotionally neutral and balanced the whole time that she won because no, she never rocks because if people got defensive in there, they would look suspicious as the millionaire. If people got like upset, they would look suspicious as if they were the millionaire, right? She was so good, right? So she was so emotionally neutral that she didn't get rocked. And therefore, her intuition worked really well because she was so emotionally neutral. You'll see in the last episode, if you watch it, it was a pure intuition challenge. I mean, there was no way she would have known or won this challenge without intuition. It was where there were three of them left. She originally had the $1 million, but each of them got to go into the room individually and move boxes around, right? No one knew which box the $1 million was in, but they had to move the boxes around. And then whoever ended up with the box at the end with the million ended up getting the million. She goes in and she intuitively knew to move her box to someone that suspected she was a millionaire so that he was going to move the other box so that he could get her money. But then she knew he was going to do that. So then she took the thing instead. And then she ended up with the millions. It was, if you watch it, you have to watch it. I'm explaining it awfully, but you have to watch it. And when you watch it, you'll be like, oh my God, her intuition was spot on. She even says, my intuition is telling me this. I have got to do it. She even says that in her confessional because she was so emotionally neutral. And then she made the $1 million. This was a girl who literally was flipping burgers in and out. She stayed neutral the whole time, had connection to her intuition, made $1 million on the show. Right. And it was so good. You guys have got to watch it. So, great show to go watch for this example. You'll see anyone who starts to get emotionally triggered by anyone else on the show, people don't trust them anymore, right? You don't trust someone fully who like is always up and down. You don't fully like know what you're going to get, what they're doing, what they're thinking. They're also not very magnetic, right? So self-image wise, this just skyrockets how people see you and elevates it even more. Okay. So, on an emotional level, when we ride this roller coaster up, we aren't seeing the potential problems. So we go and we keep going, and then we get that crash again, right? If we ride the emotional roller coaster down, we keep going down, and we're so far down, the universe has to give us a pity donut to bring us back up, right? It's like, fucking just shit hits the fan times 1,000 happens. And now you're getting pity donuts to bring you back up. And now you're back up. And then maybe you even start to get high off your pity donuts. And then you have to go back down because you just got too high off of your pity donuts. Okay. So it brings, and if we're too high, we're a match for a situation to bring us low. If we're too low, we're a match for a situation to bring us really high. Okay. The universe has to, and when I say the universe, I mean our creator field, our higher self, all the forces around us, they've got to work together to create these things around us to balance us back out. So, what we want to do is we want to go, okay, I'm in a low moment. And my creator field, my higher self, my imbalanced self has to create a high moment of me getting back in balance because I need to be in a place of registering and taking in all the highs and registering and taking in all the lows and emotions at the same time, which puts us in a perfect state of love. It's how Source sees everything. It's why this happens. Okay. The more we can be like Source, the more even incredible our lives are. So now, when we are in this situation, we can start to train ourselves to go, oh, this is good here because of this. This is bad here because of this. Another way this can happen, and I'll leave you with this one, is that pity donuts can be given in other ways. So when people are telling you, if you just assume that somebody with 3 million followers on Instagram manifested them, you've got it all wrong. Maybe they did. Maybe they did. Maybe. Rare chance. Maybe, right? Maybe. Or were they so low in needing validation that they had to create 3 million people to validate them to balance them out? And how you can tell is if they make those followers mean something about them. Okay. But so anyone who creates, maybe they created 10 million followers on Instagram. Did they create 10 million followers from a place of source balance, neutral place of creation? Or do they create 10 million followers because their higher self, their creator field, and all the other forces around, they were so far down in a place of out of love with themselves and so far down in a place of I need validation that they had to have that many people to bring them validation. It's why a lot of famous people are famous. famous people are not famous because they manifested it from a source balanced place. Take aside the dark force things they did to get there. Take aside that. They were in such a low place of validate me that they created a bunch of people to validate them to bring them back to neutral. Again, what's the problem with that? It's not sustainable. They're still on a journey of highs and lows. And at the end of the day, they don't have full control over it. And those external things did not heal their wounds, and it will only amplify their wounds. So the pity donuts can happen in that kind of way too. So next time you want to go compare yourself to people, maybe feel in, and you could use intuition for this. Is that, did they actually create that? If they created it, then you can, then you're allowed to compare yourself. If they went and created the source way, then you're allowed. In the same amount of time that you have, if you guys live the exact same life on the exact same timeline with the exact same time and effort put into something, then you're allowed to compare. And they create it through the source way faster than you did, then you're allowed to compare. If that's not the case, you're not allowed. Okay, so I'm really excited to dive in. We have a few more episodes. We're just going down on my story the other day. I took a poll of what era do we want to go into? Do we want another self-image era? Do we want another emotional mastery era? It was close call, but emotional mastery won. So don't worry, we will go into a self-image era soon again, but emotional mastery is something that I have been working on for a while, the past 10 years now, really. And if you ask my friends, they will tell you, like my friend Nikki, who lived with us for a while, he actually just recently moved out, but he would always say like, Allie, like you can't rock her. Like she doesn't fuck around. And it's because of this practice of always seeing the high and the low, always practicing it. And now, do things come up? Did I pay taxes the other day and call Sarah and have a freak out? Absolutely. After the freak out, did I know exactly what to do? Absolutely, right? But if you go too far down the spiral, then you're too far gone. Like you're just creating from fear until some fake thing brings you back up, and then until you have another crash, and it's literally no way to live. And I've lived that way for a long time, and I can say living this way now is I have been happier than I've ever been. Ever. I mean, it's the happiest I've ever been when I can see both sides. When you have emotional control, you can become reactionless. When you're reactionless, you have a whole new sense of power, control over yourself, your life, your creator field, the people in your life, the things you create, the money, your career, your relationships. And even when things do trigger you, because they will, I'm not sitting here saying I don't get triggered. I'm probably, emotionally balanced about something every day, but I know how to get it back quick, right? Being unbothered is not like not feeling anything ever, but it's knowing how to not react, and it's knowing how to bounce it out in yourself and not let yourself have this whole big like blowout expression. And you can really start to control the way that you are seen in the world as well. And emotions are not bad, and they are not good either, right? We use emotions. We need emotions to help us create. That's how we create things, is emotionally connecting to ingredients, right? You know this if you're in my courses. We emotionally connect to certain things. It's how we create, right? So we want to use that to our benefit versus our detriment, because the emotion that we focus on, embody, and make our life is what we will get more of. The bad emotions aren't bad. The good emotions aren't good. It's we want to see both at the same time. Then we are in a full place of love. So we are going to be going on this little journey of emotional mastery for a little bit. And there will be a workshop coming for it, like a quick 2-hour foundational workshop. We'll see where we're at with it. I don't know if we'll do like a big course, but we're for sure going to do a workshop. So keep your eyes peeled for that. It is coming. Get excited. 2-hour live drop-in workshop is coming on the foundation of the foundation of the foundation of emotional mastery. And this is nothing compared to what we will go into in there. So, what we're going to do now is we are going to log off the podcast. We're going to open up the floor to the membership queens to ask their questions. We're going to get them some tools. We're going to get them some little mini readings. And if you feel like you're missing out on the tools, you can come join anytime and catch the recordings. Okay, great podcast today, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.